Okay, so I'm about to scrapbook this picture, which is an old photo of my now sister-in-law, who is then just Jennifer, um, on the ferry on the way to Dartmouth from Halifax, and it's sort of one of a really old photo of me, probably around 2001. Yeah, 2001. So I wanted to get it scrapped because I don't have many pictures of me from back then, so I wanted to scrapbook it. And I'm kind of struggling with using the Studio Calico kit this month because I have a lot of moody-ish pictures. Like I have this picture I really want to scrapbook of a sunset that my husband took, and I have a bunch of Instagrams that I'm trying to get scrapbooked, and I'm kind of struggling with it. Look at that cute picture of my dog. I gotta scrapbook my dog because I never scrapbook him. I only scrapbook my cats because he never sits still for a pose. But my challenge is that all of these moody kind of, well, this one isn't moody, but I have a picture here of a flower stand in New York, and that's not moody. That would be easy to scrapbook with this kit. But what I'm finding is that I'm having a difficult time scrapbooking this month's pictures with this kit, because this is the first time this has happened to me with Studio Calico, where the colors in the kit are just, I love these colors and I love these papers, but they're just not coming together for layouts of the pictures that I have right now. And so what I might have to do is just go back into some of my older photos in order to use this kit up before the next one comes. The other challenge that I have with this particular layout is that you guys can't tell because all you see is this, but my scrap room is a disaster. Also, I just came back from a crop at a friend's house, and so I packed everything up, and I think I did a pretty good job. I never go to crops, so I wasn't sure if I'd bring the right amount of stuff, but I think I did a pretty good job. So I'm reluctant to unpack because I have another crop to go to next weekend. And so I'm sort of I really wanted to scrapbook today, but I really didn't want to take everything out of the bags. So I'm sort of like, I have my enamel dots in a little package. I'm working like this today. I have all my tools in this thing that I never keep my tools in. So I'm gonna be a little bit off today, but I think that that's okay. I just really want to scrapbook because I felt like I didn't get in enough. I only did 2 layouts at a whole day cropped yesterday, so I felt a little bit like I need a higher production than that in order to, like, when I spend the whole day scrapbooking, I'd like to get more done. So I'm going to do a bit more today just so I can feel good about what I got done this weekend. So that's it. I'm going to put you on fast forward now.
So here I am just looking through some of the scraps I have left from my kit. And I definitely want to use that cloud paper because it's a nice outdoor photo, and I love cloud paper. Um, for outdoor. There've been a couple of different manufacturers. That is by Maggie Holmes from the Crepe Paper Maggie Holmes collection, and I absolutely love that. October Afternoon also made a really nice cloud paper last year, and I think Sassafras made one the year before that. And I love using that cloud paper as a background paper. This was a good photo for that. And I was thinking about doing a concentric square layout, like like a 12 by 12 and a 10 by 10 and a 8 by 8 or something like that, which I haven't done one of those layouts in a long time, if ever. So I was kind of thinking about doing that, but then I didn't end up going that way at all. It occurred to me at one point that that craft paper, the back side of it, the chevron craft, has the anchors, and because this photo was taken on a boat, I thought I would do that. I know people are using anchors as a generic kind of icon these days without it needing to be a boat layout, but it feels weird to me to do that. It might not always feel weird, but it's still new, this idea of anchors as general shapes for me. I'll probably come over to it eventually, but right now I'm just kind of wanting to use anchors for water layouts. Um, but I think that other layouts look really cool. I just can't quite do it yet. So here I am just kind of trying to, again, I'm just kind of thinking off the top of my head here. I don't have a real plan for this layout because my original plan was concentric squares and that didn't go anywhere. So now I'm just kind of winging it. So I put those strips and then cut some more strips from the anchor paper is Dear Lizzie from the Lucky Charm collection. And I'm just going to do some outlining with little dots every here and there around this background paper as well as all of those strips that I cut. And so I'll be able to tell you which paper is which as I cut those. So this is Amy Tangerine paper from the Studio Calico kit. Most of this stuff at this point is from the Studio Calico kit. So this is Dear Lizzie from the Lucky Charm collection, and this is a piece of Studio Calico paper, and then this is Tim and Beck. And so I'm going to outline all of these, and I'm double outlining just because your messiness looks like it's on purpose if you double outline. And then I am going to sew these down as well. So I forget what I was talking about there, but yeah, so they're all from the Neverland kit from Studio Calico. And at first I'm going to center these, and then I decide I'm probably going to want to put a title over to the right on this layout, so I move everything over a little bit. And I just put a tiny strip of adhesive down the middle, and now I'm kind of looking at my thread and trying to decide which color I'm going to use. This is a really, really bright thread on the spool, but I thought it was possible that it wouldn't be as bright once it was, you know, not all together on a spool. So I'm just doing a little bit of a test, and it's quite bright, but it's not overwhelmingly bright, so I'm going to go with it because the other pink that I have is so pale that it really is just going to look white. So now I'm just going to sew down each of these strips, and I wanted to sew this before it was attached to the background because I want these strips to lift up from the background paper, and if they're sewed down obviously they won't do that. And I'm just alternating between a straight stitch, a small zigzag, and two bigger zigzags. So there's like 4 different stitches all together on here, so that's why you see I keep on turning the dial there. And at this point my sewing machine just randomly stopped working, and it concerned me a little bit, more than a little bit, because I love my sewing machine. It had been out in my car overnight, and so it could have been just that the motor was like overheating after having been cold or something. I don't know, because once I stopped sewing for a minute and then started again, it worked again. So I'm guessing it was just like, because the sewing machine actually still felt very cold to the touch, so I'm guessing it was just being a little bit fussy about the cold. I won't leave it in my car overnight anymore. So then I just added those Tim and Beck strips to the wider Dear Lizzie strips that were on there, and I just kind of arranged them so that I could still see some of the sewing. Most of the sewing, I covered up a little bit of it and did the same kind of stitching arrangement, and then I just used my fingers to lift up the edges, but I didn't lift them up all the way because my picture is going to go over top of this, and I want my picture to lay relatively flat. So I did forget to zoom out as usual. I try to zoom in to be helpful, and then I end up forgetting to zoom out. And so I'm thinking about matting that photo because it's got so much kind of white around the edges. So I went to my scrap area, and this is where storing my scraps by color is really helpful because I just pulled out my black and gray and white drawer and kind of sifted around until I found something, and that ended up being a piece of Studio Calico paper from the Abroad collection. And yeah, so I just put a tiny little mat around it just to help define the edges of that photo. And that's one of those strangely shaped photos from the late 90s and early 2000s when we had those Advantix photos that would print at different widths. And so I really actually wanted to accentuate the fact that this photo was wider than most of my photos, so I didn't trim it. At first I was thinking I'd just trim it out, but I like seeing the skyline of Dartmouth in the background, and I didn't, and the bridge and that sort of thing. So I went into my own Amy Tangerine Yes Please stash. So these things are not from the kit, the things that you're seeing right now. Everything up until now was from the kit. And they have some nice cut apart patterns and little cards and stuff on there. And I'm further personalizing it because I wanted it to be banners, but there weren't any banners, so I just made my own. And I wanted to layer pink over that yellow because the yellow seemed a little bit too much. So I just cut another piece from the cut apart and cut that one into a banner as well. I'm going to trim them up even more because I think they're crowding me a little bit too much. They're crowding us on the paper, on the photo. So I'll eventually trim them down a bit more. And now I'm just kind of looking at what other elements I might like to layer on this layout. And so I'm taking this Hello Adventure, and I'm going to tuck that in at the top, and I'm going to further alter that Hello Adventure tag eventually. So now I want the fishtails on those two banners to each show. I accidentally cut them at exactly the same angle. I think they would have looked more interesting with one with a sharp angle and one with less of an angle, but I didn't do that. So I did outline them too, just to give them, just because everything is outlined, so I wanted to kind of carry that on. I am adhering the whole thing to the background fairly early for me. I usually do that as one of the last things, but I wanted to be mindful of the fact that I didn't want those banners to hang off the edge. Usually I hang stuff off the edge, but I didn't in this case. So now I've grabbed a bunch of thickers, and these are my all-time favorite thickers. They're Goodness by Amy Tangerine, and they're quite old. They're just kind of like a crisscross grid type of pattern. And they come in a dark gray and in a lighter gray. And then these other glittery thickers in the bluish teal color are from crepe paper, and I don't know what collection they're from, and I don't know what they're called because they're packed away in my crop bag now. But they weren't quite doing it for me, so I ended up not going with those, even though I did spell them out on the wax paper. And here's where I decide to change the word sisters into these light green glitter stickers. They're like puffy stickers, and they're by Dear Lizzie. I believe they're from the Fifth and Frolic collection, and they are called Charmed. And they're really cute, but mine are falling apart. Like when I peel them off, sometimes the plastic separates from the backing, but the glitter does not spill. I was worried when I saw that happening that the glitter might spill, but the glitter seems to be solid inside of the little tubes, the little plastic tubes that they come in. So it didn't cause a mess or anything, and you can't really tell that they're split. So I've scooched together the two words in and law, and I'm pretty sure there should be some hyphens in there, but I'm not bothering to hyphenate just because I need to fit it. I didn't want too much of the W to extend off of that Amy Tangerine paper, the pink paper, and so that's just the way I did it without the hyphens. Normally I would have looked up where the hyphens need to go. I think there needs to be one after sisters and and before law. So now I'm doing some journaling, and my journaling says, "This is one of the first times I met Jen. We spent the day in downtown Dartmouth with Scott. We had no idea we would someday be family. We are posing on the ferry deck on the way to Dartmouth." And so I'm just kind of looking at that and trying to decide what else I want to do. I know I want some embellishment, and I think I'm pretty close to taking a break here because I'm scrapbooking on a Saturday morning and I can hear my family upstairs walking around, and I know that I'm going to have to go up and start tending to breakfast and that sort of thing. But I'm playing around with that handwritten trim that came on the Maggie Holmes paper, and I wanted to use it, but I end up not using it. And then that is the Studio Calico One Perfect Day in, and then a line. And I knew I wanted to use that. So here's some Dear Lizzie washi tape that came in the Project Life kit for Studio Calico, and I'm just putting it in a couple of different places. So up on that Hello Adventure die cut piece, and then also on the little banner that I created. And I thought about replacing a word there with a word sticker, but my writing was too big and it was showing underneath, so I didn't do that. thinking about where I'm going to put some enamel dots. And now, because I have to take a break and I have an idea of what I want to do next, I don't want to forget it. So I'm writing down that I want to put a little circle up there and another circle up in the other corner. So I took my break, and here I am back after tending to breakfast and getting my kids settled with something, some type of activity. My husband's home too, so um, so I pulled out both Amy Tangerine, which is the hello and the little gray heart, and also Dear Lizzie die cuts, which is what that little sailboat one is that's up in the corner. And I've also got my Amy Tangerine stickers out. I don't have all my Dear Lizzie embellishments yet because they haven't arrived at the store that I order from. And then I also took out those Amy Tangerine puffy stickers because I'm pretty sure I want to use those, and those translucent Amy Tangerine stickers. I just put one on the hello tag, and I'm gonna put one up there. So at this point I cover up the adventure, and I put some, I forget what that Amy Tangerine letters, that little phrase sticker says, but I'm going to end up replacing it because I think it's too much yellow up there, and I end up adding some navy blue, and I want to add some navy blue up there. So I'm going to pull that sticker off eventually. So I'm just kind of trying to cluster some circular things because there was so many sharp corners on this layout with all of those strips. So I tucked in a little half of that Amy Tangerine little flower because it's circular, and I tucked in the Amy Tangerine hello die cut circular piece, and then that heart piece, and then that navy blue heart with the negative space in it is from the Dear Lizzie set of thicker shapes that you can get. And here I'm going to peel up that sticker rather than covering it up because I think I can use it on something else, and that says "You are awesome." And I chose it mostly because it's navy blue, but also my sister-in-law is pretty awesome, so it fits. I pulled out the anchor sticker from the thicker set from Dear Lizzie, and I also, right now I'm putting on those chipboard chevrons, which I'm going to move because they're too far over. There you go. And again, I chose the anchor because I wasn't sure if I'd get a chance to use an anchor again in a way that I want to. So I'm outlining around that hello piece of cardstock die cut thing. I'm sprinkling some of those stars up in the top right hand corner, putting back that yellow sticker. And now I want to put something similar to the heart, to the stars down in the other corner, but there's only 2 hearts on that set of stickers, the chipboard ones. And so I'm probably breaking some design rule when I do this, but I just took one of the puffy stickers by Amy Tangerine, and it has a white outline and the other ones don't, and it's plastic and the other ones are chipboard, so it doesn't really match perfectly, but it looks okay. And I just really wanted a third heart there, and I wanted the third heart to have dimensions, so I didn't want a punched cardstock heart. So now I just added a bit of that washi tape up in the corner, and a little, I just cut out a section of the Amy Tangerine paper. I have a little helper with me here, and another one of those chipboard cutouts, and I'm going to trim off my edges, and I'm going to staple both of the the chipboard hearts. And I have 2 helpers, my cat and my kid. That's Sophie who's helping me. And I'm not sure what we're doing now. I'm a little bit distracted by my helper, I think. Oh yes, she's helping me put away things. And I'm putting some enamel dots, and I'm choosing the deeper of the 2 colors of pink that came in the Project Life kit from Studio Calico. And I'm just putting them in, I think, 3 different places, but I'm putting 2 of them up in the top. So I put some up in the top little cluster, some in the cluster by the word future, and then some down in the other third cluster. And now I don't know what we're doing. I probably should have edited this. I think we're putting stuff away. And now this is, I have all these in here because from my crop. And so, yeah, now I'm deciding that even for my crop, they should probably be in a plastic bag in case they leak. So I'm just covering things that I don't want to get sprinkled, and I'm using Mr. Huey's and also some Heidi Swap Color Shine. The pink is Heidi Swap, and because it's packed away, I don't know the title, like the name of it, but it's a pink Heidi Swap. And it's got like a shimmery goldy type of color in it too. It's really cool. I like how it splatters. It splatters with a bit of dimension. It doesn't flatten out quite as much as the Mr. Huey's do. So I'm just packing that back and putting it back in my crop bag so I don't forget my mists when I go on the weekend. And and so here are some of the close-ups. My helper is doing the close-ups for you. And so there's that cluster with some little cardstock and cardstock embellishments and stickers and chipboard stars from the Dear Lizzie collection. And then up here, there's just that stamp, One Perfect Day, I wrote in 2001. And here's the cluster down here. I really love how the sprinkles look. There's my daughter. She's going to give you a wave and show you her tattoo, which she got when we were on our staycation in the city. And yeah, she wants to say hi, but she's also a little shy, so she doesn't want to. Anyways, if you guys have any questions about this layout or anything, just drop me a message and in the comments section. And this might be the last layout that you see for probably a week. And then I'll be back to my regular, probably 1 to 3 layouts per week. So thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.